99 is a story of my life. You know, hip hop is all about storytelling. 99 is one of the opening tracks for this album, and I really wanted to capture my story in snapshots. It's like if someone were to ask me about pivotal moments, or when I was in journalism student in college, one of the questions that you would use to get people talking was, what are the sights, sounds, and smells that remind you of your childhood? And it's meant to kind of stir up emotions or different scenes from your life. So 99 is that song. It is a kind of triple entendre because the album, there's a lot of 3-verse format, which a lot of hip hop songs back in the day were 3-verse formats. Now you have songs that are 2 minutes or less. So 99, it harkens back to the 99s and the 2000s, which is my coming of age story when I really fell in love with hip hop and was actively engaged in the genre at that time. But it also represents Christ leaving the 99 to find the one. So the whole song is a metaphor for Christ leaving the 99 to find the one, but also 99 was a transitional year and period in my life. So in 99, Furious Styles was in the Matrix, Boys in the Hood, Pop Hills, Both Red and Blue. That is just a callback to John Singleton, shout out to him, Boys in the Hood film, which is one of my family's favorite hood movies. If you love hood movies, you know what I'm talking about. You know who Ricky is, you know who Doughboy is. And you know, Furious Styles was the father of Trey's character, who was played by Cuba Gooding Jr., and Furious Styles was the dad that was not to be messed with. He was not to be played with, played by Lawrence Fishburne, who's an OG actor. And it kind of represents, like, my dad very much was a towering presence in my life at that time, because when we moved from one area of the south side of Chicago to another, it was because my dad had moved from the house we had grown up in to a new home in West Inglewood. So that kind of parallels my story. And I wanted to use a lot of pop culture references, and that, you know, came to mind. But also The Matrix came out in 1999. I remember The Matrix being a big deal. That film was, man, huge at that time. And Lawrence Fishburne, he also played Morpheus, so that's the character. So I had a lot of like metaphors and kind of double and triple entendres in the song, and I really wanted to keep it bar heavy and creative because, again, I'm channeling the spirit of hip hop and storytelling and kind of bringing that color and character back to my music. Columbine on Channel 5, could hardly take it, filled with terror, shaking my head, watching the tube. So that section of the song talking about Columbine, which was a pivotal moment in America, and as that was the first kind of major school shooting that was televised. And I remember when Columbine happened, and it changed America forever. It forever changed the school system forever, because now, my generation, we now pray different prayers, you know, when we go to school and work. But also, you know, I'm a mom of a 4-year-old, you know, we pray different prayers now when our kids go to school, because you pray they come back home. And now, you know, my nieces and nephews are growing up in an era where school shootings, unfortunately, are normal. You know, so these are all incidents and things that happened in that time period of my life in the 99s and 2000s that impacted me and also the culture around me. So I really wanted to bring people back to that time. What was I doing? What was I listening to? What was I engaging in during that time? High school, I was not a very motivated student. I was just trying to like get through high school and get out. So I was describing myself just lamenting, oh, another school day, I gotta go to class. So again, just a snapshot of that period of my life. But that was also when I discovered music. So towards the end of the verse, I talk about broken was my composition. My parents were divorced. And at that time, we were just kind of shuffling through life like this is our new normal. Our parents aren't together anymore. We have different home structures now. We're with my mom during the week. We're with my dad on the weekends. And I talk about how that broke us. Divorce is very painful when you have kids involved in the situation. And I love both my parents. I feel like they tried to shield me the best they could from just the tough situation that they were going through, you know, with the split. But God shielded me. So I talk about how Jesus came in and fixed it, like all of the broken areas of my life. in every nook and cranny of my life. I didn't realize it or see it at the time, but God was definitely watching over me. Jesus was repairing those things in my life that was broken. I'm a woman of too many words and I won't waste none. Remember back in the days, my daddy's basement, bobbing my head up and down the hip hop bass drums. Stayed out of trouble, more interested in that bass thump of ghetto drama, the fellows commas, trying to buy mellow mamas, exotic trips to islands, hello Bahamas. Dudes on the block trying to be Barack to Michelle Obama's. Carrying Glocks ain't a shot, dug ox for bail for dollars. That verse kind of sets the scene of hood life. We moved from one part of Inglewood to West Inglewood. It wasn't a come up, it was just a lateral kind of move from one hood to another hood. So I'm just kind of describing like the people on the block who was going about their daily lives. Guys trying to holler at girls like get out of my face. But guys trying to come up, you know, financially, gain some clout in different ways to try to win the favor of girls. So this is just a scene of what is playing out. We used to sit on my porch in West Inglewood and just people watch. And we enjoyed people watching. My dad had the reins on real tight because of the neighborhood we were in, but we got to sit on the porch and just kind of like observe people passing by. And so that just kind of set the scene. This is now, when we say what sights, sounds, and smells remind you of your childhood, these were the sights that would describe my neighborhood. And that's that verse. And I wanted to do like a fun kind of rhyme scheme too. So really all just, it came together. And I think I did pretty well. That's just me though. Before black presidents, Inglewood my residence, daughter of a pastor, stayed in church though I was negligent to submit my body to the Lord. What was my reverence? Professing believer but deceive, ignore the testaments, content to watch my crew run. My youth a dumb dunce, amused by fun once, peruse the fools who would soon come undone. My moves had succumbed to news of the sun. So that part of the verse was just talking about me wanting to be like my friends. I went to church on Sunday. I was at church all the time, all throughout the week and on the weekends. But it's like, do I smell like the fragrance of Christ? Do I look like the fragrance of Christ? So at that time, it was me looking for identity. So I was like content to watch my crew run. And that is a callback to, you know, Notorious B.I.G. verse. Again, just a lot of different ways that I kind of play with those words and those verses. Is just kind of like, again, I want to go back to the era of hip hop where, man, there's just a lot of like candor and color and just rhyme schemes and stuff. So that's that part of the verse. Sitting on the porch watching winos, wondering what secrets you could find in the bottle, only wine knows. Drinking away the pain, cloaking the tears and rain, intoxicated with the liquor so the demons tame. That is just painting the picture of, again, what am I seeing in my neighborhood? You know what's interesting, in every major city in America, usually the scary part of town is the areas where the black and the brown people live. And that's in every major city in America. Why is that? That's a story for a different day. That's a whole nother breakdown. But what am I observing? I'm seeing people indulge in what they indulge in. Whatever sinful inclination, whatever has you captive and in a chokehold, you're going to run in that, like if you're unredeemed, because we're captive to the flesh. So I'm basically talking about the trappings of the hood and me growing up in this environment where I grew up in a church in the hood. So all these things are surrounding me, but yet I'm not being swallowed up and consumed by them in the way that other people in my environment are. And that is just strictly by the grace of God. So that part of the verse, again, is like the kind of sights and sounds we would look, you know, in our neighborhood, and that's what we would see. I was packing secret passion, was an addict with the tablet, pen and pad was wreaking havoc, never placid with the rapping, barely passing on my classes, steady blasting all the classics. Like a pageant, I'm showcasing all my talent with pizzazz, laying in it, make a palette for that I would be the passive employee, paper of plastic, but I thank the everlasting. Aunt's daughter molested me, God's love protected me, cousin said I'll be turned out, but look at how I turned out. Amazed at how God above keeps blessing thee. Steps to take, want more of him and less of me. I know that I can manage you, God, I'm not divine. Grateful for the grace you placed on me in 99. So in my neighborhood, of course, everybody has their passions and the things that they chase and they follow. At that time, I was pursuing, I didn't know it at the time, but a rap dream. I hadn't recorded formally in the studio. I had just started in a kind of, unofficial rap group with my brother and some of our friends from the neighborhood, and we would always freestyle and write rhymes. This was something exciting. So this was a new passion I was discovering outside of just the four walls of my church, but just discovering a love for rap and just hip hop impacting me in this way. So I was really excited about that. So you have, different people passions in the hood, like, I'm not a drug dealer, I'm not, one of them girls that's just gonna be, chasing behind a guy or all this stuff. And I'm a church girl, but also I had this new passion for rap. So I had discovered something that really rejuvenated me, that made me come alive, something that I loved and was passionate about. So I was writing rhymes. I had a composition book. So that section of the song was really just describing my passion for music. But also it talks about the trauma of experiencing sexual abuse as a child. And I wanted to mention it. I feel like in my music, I give myself permission to say things I wouldn't say or express otherwise. And it felt so freeing to express it, because a lot of people, if you've experienced sexual abuse, no matter what age, it's traumatic. It's hard to talk about, but I felt like it was so freeing. And what's funny with this album, Emmett Till Road, I said a lot of things that people had done to me and said to me, and some of it was negative and harsh. And I was like, I hope my family isn't like, who's she talking about? Who's that? But be glad I didn't name names, okay? But I kept that person anonymous because it doesn't matter. What matters is that it happened. But through it all, God was watching over me. So I ended, I say grateful. I know that I can't manage you, God. So you, God, he was one of the members of the Wu-Tang Clan. Another popular rap group. It's a callback to the 90s, 2000s era. But you, God, was a member of the Wu-Tang Clan, and the manager was RZA's older brother named Divine. So I said, I know that I can't manage you, God, I'm not divine. Grateful for the grace you placed on me in 99. That's one of my favorite bars that I've ever written. And man, shout out to all the rappers that get it. I love having fun with my pen and pushing my pen, and I really felt like that part of the song really represents that. Even though all this chaos is happening around me and my parents' divorce, I was sexually abused, I'm growing up in a neighborhood that's really not suitable, but God still gave me refuge. Because even if God does not change the circumstances, he can change you in the midst of the circumstance. I sinned, in 1999. I had my share of fun in 1999. I discovered my gift and my passion in 1999. But I also got saved and redeemed in that same house, on that same block in 1999 in my room, and gave my life to the Lord. Trying to be content with what you supply. And you got 99 ways to tell me I'll reside in this place that I hate still until my eyes look to you with gratitude, the one sheep you pursued and left the 99. So all of it is just going right back to what God has done. And I love it. If you look at the Bible is God's book, and it's about him redeeming mankind. And so I'm just a little black in the story, but it's like, thank God that he does leave the 99 and go after the one. And I'm that one. And if you're saved today, you're that one.